Good evening and welcome to an unusual edition of Punchline. Unusual because, as you can see, I am not in studio, but clearly politics finds me wherever I am. Tonight, I'm very pleased to host the Tiaty Member of Parliament, William Kamket, who was elected on a KANU ticket. And as you know, KANU is now in coalition with Jubilee. We're going to be speaking about the state of the nation and, of course, the events of the last few days that has left many people concerned about possibly, the rising of political temperatures to a level that Kenyans are not comfortable with. And Mheshimiwa, I just want to thank you very much for joining me virtually via Zoom this evening. So good evening to you.
A very good evening to you, Anne, and the rest of the viewers.
Thank you very much. I want to begin, like I've mentioned, in the Rift Valley, concerns that are now there following the utterances over the last few days of Jubilee's Oscar Sudi and KANU's Johanna. That, of course, has been followed by a cat-or-mouse game that led to the arrests of both leaders. Are you concerned at all that these events, whichever you want to blame for the start of it, are raising political temperatures, and why would you be concerned at all?
Well, very well. As every Kenyan and as a leader, member of parliament, I'm extremely, of course, concerned that those two colleagues of mine have had to say very unsavory things, especially about respected elders, a person who is old enough to be their grandma, and disrespecting the president and that kind of stuff. It's a very embarrassing moment to have such people as my colleagues. But I'm happy too that they have been apprehended and that the law is taking its course. They'll have to answer to their careless utterances.
Right. You call them careless utterances, and various people perhaps would have felt the same way, but others still have maintained that though both remarks were unsavory or perhaps a nuisance, certainly, that they do not meet the threshold of incitement as per our laws. Would you disagree?
You know, the words of a leader are very important. Every leader must weigh what they say, especially knowing where we have come from as a country. So those who think that those words or those utterances don't meet the threshold, they are entitled to their opinion. But at least I know from we have a very serious law enforcement agency in terms of the police, and they have looked at those utterances, and that's why the two have been apprehended.
Right. Is there a degree of what you would call, I suppose, dog whistle politics, where some of the things that are said mean certain things to various communities?
Yeah, well, that's true. This is politics brought forward in terms of there has been a group of people who really can't wait for 2022, and they in their imaginations they think 2022 is next week, so they have run amok with politics, forgetting that we have a pandemic to fight, we have an economy to revive, we have issues, so many issues. Our children are at home, so but. It serves them right, what they are going through now. That is their problem.
Well, that's I think, a view many will find interesting, particularly because, and you have heard, of course, the famous quote by Senator James Orengo about, how things come to haunt one, and certainly perhaps for the Deputy President's camp, that seems to be the case. What makes you think then that you who is celebrating this now will not be the one who is haunted later?
When my time comes, let the others celebrate. I'm not celebrating in any case. I'm just saying that the law must take its course. So I'm not celebrating in any way. The only thing I can say that I am as a politician, the only thing I can say that is that our strategy as Team Gideon Moi is working.
And what would that strategy be?
And you live in this country, and Senator Gideon Moi and the Deputy President both share the constituency of Rift Valley. And we have, through our own machinations and other things, managed to drive the Deputy President into opposition. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
A sitting Deputy President serving at the same time as a leader of opposition. You know?
Certainly no laughing matter, I'm sure, from his end. And one would argue that that's a bit of a stretch, attributing any of the deputy president's woes to KANU. But I'll come to matters KANU very shortly. And say this, because you have raised the deputy president's name. You have been calling him out on the 7th of September, I beg your pardon. You said to my friend William Ruto, you cannot choreograph messaging and expect us to believe you. You continue to say in that quote, you designed a message to disrespect the founding family of Kenya. Ngeno and Sudi are your agents. Why do you believe that this sort of messaging comes directly from the deputy president when he himself has gone publicly to kind of reprimand those who have been speaking this turn and call for, conciliatory talk? Is it not possible that leaders of their own volition, of their own passion, are the ones who are responsible for this, and that it should not necessarily be attributed to the deputy president in the same way that perhaps President Kenyatta wouldn't want his name to be entangled with what some of his supporters also say?
If you heard what Ngeno said, and you heard what the other gentleman, Sudi, said, it's basically the same words. It's a script that is made from that hotel. What do you call that hotel in near Wilson Airport?
I'll let you name it, the hotel that you mean.
Weston. Oh, it's a script. It's a story, a script cooked, prepared at Weston or at current residence, and then remember the question of who let the dogs out. And listen, Anne, this. What is happening is very simple. These people have been suffering from what I would call separation anxiety, and they never believed, or they never thought, they have been living in denial that it's all over between the deputy president and the president. Now that they have realized it is true, so what they are doing now is try to, call the president names, and they have now realized, and that's why they are so bitter. But you see, this is politics, and I like what my friend, the governor of Wasingishu told them, and he's their friend. He told them, siasa haitaki makasiriko, and it is true. It is because it is dawning on them now that it's all over. And I'm happy, this is happening this early. Because can you imagine such angry people taking over the leadership of the country? Can you imagine what they would do to the rest of us? So I'm happy, and it's open now. Everything is out in the air, in the open. And the people of Central Kenya, the Gema community, I am happy they have now seen. If they are calling, President Kenyatta the First, Mzee, died about 42 years ago. They are still talking about him. Can you imagine what kind of disrespect they have?
And
now they are bringing in the name of the first lady, the first lady, the president's mother.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I think I don't want to return to those unsavory remarks. The jury is out on that, and we'll see what the process, any legal process.
So let me say this, Anne. Sorry,
sir, I'm running
Anne.
out of time. We have about just 5 minutes on this call, and I do want to get to the heart of the matter, which is KANU and Jubilee. And you've just at the start of this interview praised yourselves, claiming that you are, your strategies and machinations are working. But are they really? Because KANU has come, yes, to the supposed aid of President Kenyatta's wing of Jubilee, but your numbers in Parliament speak for themselves, and unfortunately, they don't speak loudly enough, at least as we have seen right now in the Division of Revenue Bill, and not just you, by the way, including all other partnerships, even ODM. So the question is, does your partnership really make a difference to President Kenyatta and to his agenda? And more so, why should KANU have any view at all that its party leader would be a possible presidential flag bearer in an arrangement of a coalition which goes to the polls, including Jubilee?
First of all, that animal called Jubilee, whatever it was, whether it was a coalition or whatever it was, in my considered view, is functus official. It's just a matter of time, because out of respect for the president to finish his agenda, otherwise that thing is time is up. But because there are new formations coming in, where KANU will be in, Uhuru's side of Jubilee will be in, and Kalonzo and Baba and the others. So and Ofaranya and group. So in terms of the revenue sharing, I do not want to get into that, because that is a very dicey matter, because it's a matter of sharing money or sharing resources. And when it comes to sharing of resources, it's a matter of life and death, really. And your friend can run away from you, even your best friend, when it comes to sharing of resources. So I do not think that's a measure to talk about in terms of the political formations that we are going to do going forward. I believe in the candidature of my friend Senator for Baringo, Mheshimiwa Gideon Moi. But our strategy has been a strategy of respecting other leaders. Number one, respect that there is a sitting president, and do not do things that can annoy him. We have been perfect in that. We respect Prime Minister Raila Odinga. That is why we are not saying now that we are, you've not heard Gideon Moi saying he's going to run, because we are still negotiating. We are people who respect other
the deputy president.
Except, sorry?
You don't respect the deputy president?
He doesn't respect himself.
Oh dear.
Oh yes, he doesn't respect himself. How do you describe a person who comes from an election in election was August 2017. By September, he had begun running for president for 2022. Can you imagine? And I once said that if you want to do a study on how not to run for president,
oh dear,
from a deputy president's perspective, you would have to simply take a study on my friend, the deputy president, William Ruto.
Oh dear.
So, but anyway, that is his problem. For us, we are doing our part.
A final question for you before we wind up. As you've said that your strategy is to respect, I suppose, everybody except the deputy president. Let me ask you this. Even so, what makes you believe that Gideon Moi, the senator for Baringo, can take on the deputy president, leave alone Gideon? I say any other leader in the Rift Valley can challenge the deputy president for the support of his backyard. I mean, what evidence is there? I mean, we don't even hear of the senator of Baringo, and arguably, as we see different leaders go around the country, questionably so, but nonetheless gathering crowds, one wonders what crowds would Gideon Moi pull?
Since me and you live in this country, please I pray that God gives us good health. When that time comes, you will be seeing for yourself.
Right.
And it is not right for leaders to break the law. What example are we showing our children if we are going to address huge rallies when we have made regulations on COVID-19 and we are ignoring? What example are we showing to our children if we as leaders behave that way? So we are saying, fine, you do your thing, we will do our thing. And there is 1.5 years, actually almost 2 years to election. So those who are running like headless chicken now, as if there is an election to be held next month, let them go ahead. And they had better be careful because Corona is real.
Oh my goodness. And that's our time. I want to thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, for speaking to us, William Kamket, the Tiaty Member of Parliament.
Thank you very much.
And back to you in studio.